Hi, my name is Yuri, and this is using Lightworks for video editing on Linux. And I'm presenting this at RVA Lab. So, welcome to this talk. And this is just last year that I started doing video. I went ahead and I looked for Kden Live. I have a license for Premiere Pro, but a really old Premiere Pro. And I also have Premiere Elements. They did not work on Linux, and I did not want to boot into Windows to use this stuff. I guess I was just being stubborn, but I'm like, oh, come on, there has to be something. And I went ahead and I looked into Kden Live. Kden Live had a reputation before 2023 of being very unstable. I did not run into the absolutely horrible stability issues that people had before. The application certainly had some problems, but it was nothing that I couldn't work around and get what I needed to do actually working. The problem and the main issue that made me switch to Lightworks was the rendering times. I am okay with spending money on software. That's why I have the licenses for my other software. And people buy software all the time. I think most of it is like in the form of games that they somehow put, for example, a game into some other category than software like Lightworks or like Reaper. But it pretty much is software all the same. So I went ahead and I said, is there something on Linux that is a professional level software that I can use to edit those things? And it was just for church. I was editing sermons. I didn't need, the absolute best. So, why didn't I stick with Kden Live? It's because the rendering times and exporting at 1080p, it would take a horrendous amount of time. And seriously, if I couldn't find a piece of software that could render faster, I would have to turn to Windows. And I tried DaVinci. And I couldn't even load the footage in it with the free version. So I will have to buy DaVinci in order to even test loading the footage straight up from the camera. Like this, the camera that is recording right now is going to be H.264, the video codec, and AAC for audio. DaVinci Free on Linux does not support loading those things. So I would have to transfer from one file to the other. So that is time for me to do that already, which was time, was the thing that I wanted to save up on it. I'm like, okay, I either go ahead and fork, I don't know, it was $250 or something. Yes, it is expensive, but it is not the end of the world, I'm like, is that not, or I could just get DaVinci Free on Windows, and this is the machine that I use for video editing. And would it load? Yeah, I could export, could test everything on Windows. Yeah, but I want to use Linux. So I heard a while back a company, and I think it was around 2010, Lightworks, that had ported their software, and that their software was professional quality software. Had been used on, they say that it was used on this film, it was used on that film. I don't really know. If it was used, how much it was used, or if it wasn't used at all. But it seems like, at least from their promotional brochures, that yes, indeed, there was used somewhere professionally. And their market share on Windows and Mac from early 2000s, apparently they had some, and then started to dwindle. And by 2010, it was kind of small. So they went ahead and they ported that stuff. At least that's what I remember reading. And of course, you guys can go ahead and double check this later. They ported the stuff, and they put some limitations, and they do kind of nickel and dime people here and there. But whenever I get this files, and I have about a little bit over a gig left on this hard drive, and if I want, and this is just working with 1080p, that is enough for a lot of videos. If I go and I start doing stuff with like 4K, I'm gonna have to get at least a 4 terabyte. So I said 1 gig was 1 terabyte. At least a 4 terabyte, and they are they're like a 250 or around on Amazon right now. So they're not terrible, and they're the .m2 that you can plug it right in super fast. I will have to change that. Go ahead and I copy the footage over. I remove the audio track. Then I added the audio track on Reaper. I go ahead and I clean it and I make sure it is as good as I possibly can. There are a couple things that I go a little bit over on the audio, and I don't know, it's like it takes training for us to not say the connecting words between sentences instead of allowing for like a dead air. We have to fill it with something, or keep some weird sometimes sounds that we make with our mouths. And having edited so much audio, I can hear that all the time, and I can say like how terrible it is for you to listen to something for an hour or something, and you pretty much have to put up with all that. So I'm not a trained speaker, so my audio may have some of those issues. After I'm done with this audio part, then I go ahead and I open up Lightworks. So let me go ahead and open up Lightworks. So you guys can see here all the videos that I have done on the past, and these are the sermons that I have been talking about. And you can see here the 2 footages that I have for the log, which Mark presented, and I hope I can actually be as good of a presenter as he was. I don't know if I'm gonna live up to the standard that he set, and I'm very glad that he was like one of the first footages that I had to edit. And after editing so much audio and video, I can tell the people that have some training and people that have experience, as opposed to people like me that just show up and start talking. I can open up, and let's go with Mark here. So I listed all the devices that we have recording for audio here. That's because for these 2 videos that we did, we only had the audio from, one was the camcorder that we were using, and the second one was the cell phone that I had. The audio that we had for the first one, for this here, let me go ahead and open it up and show it. You guys can, and I don't know if it shows, but when I imported, and here are the assets. This one here came straight up from the camera. So when I put this on the timeline, I already had the audio. So I pretty much used, and this is again part of my workflow, this lossless cut. This is open source. Go ahead and open it up. And let me move it to the correct screen. you pretty much drop the video here, and then you can go ahead and you guys can see the export button, and you can see like where you can export. It's gonna tell you, and what you can export. Let me go ahead, and I thought I could show this without actually wasting time showing one of the videos, but I think it's gonna be beneficial to actually see one of these. So this is one of his videos, one of Mark's videos that we did for the log. So this one here, you can do a rough cut in it. So let's say I want the video just from here to here, and it becomes easier to work with rough cuts than it is to have you deal with the whole file, at least for me. So I pretty much just do that, and then you can come here and you can press export, and then it's gonna tell you, okay, I am exporting 2 tracks. So are you sure you want to keep these 2 tracks? The 2 tracks are the audio and the video. And then it's gonna go ahead and give it a different, like a append, something to it, and put dash trim. And so let's say that on that case, I actually exported the entire video. I exported the entire audio. I didn't want the video. So I can go ahead and I can select the video, come here, and I keep the audio. Then there's 2 things that you can do. One, you can come here and you can choose the M4A, which is the iPod. I guess they were using an iPod, and that's the only place I have ever heard of M4As being used, which are the codecs AC. It is its own container. This file is this is an MP4, and inside it you have H.264 for video and the AC for audio. These are the 2 codecs being used. So it doesn't, like, the file gets cut from here to here in audio, but doesn't get re-encoded. So to me, it doesn't lose any fidelity at all. So that's why I try to keep with the same with the same codec. So I went ahead and so here you can see the M4A. Then pretty much click export, and you can see, like, okay, I don't want to export it to that. I want it. It's open source software, so it opened up on the background. Again, this is free, so keep that in mind. So, and this is, for example, the folder right now where I am exporting stuff, and you can see like all of the things that I have. Let me see if it doesn't show the M4As in here, but I pretty much I grabbed the M4A from here, then I put it on Reaper, then I clean it, then I export it as a flag. And again, I don't want to lose fidelity with it, and the flag is half the size of a wave that is uncompressed. So after I do that, and after I use this thing here, and I pretty much import it in here, and you can see the trim, and this is the flag. It's not showing the. Let's see if I can. I guess I can review the. Okay, so you see, this is the flag that I'm using. This came from Reaper. So I pretty much put this in here. Then I get the video down, and this is the flag right down here. And as you can see here on this timeline, and this was my fault thinking that I could just like I could talk about all this stuff from both audio and video at the same time, while this thing has, there are so many things that we can do with it. So and again, talking just about my workflow. So I mean, I'm not gonna go through pretty much how I drag. I wouldn't do this if this was if this was Windows, but unfortunately, and it was last time that I presented. Some of the guys from the lug were like, "Okay, you can drag and drop on it might have been Mark. You can drag and drop on GNOME with no problems at all. You're just making stuff up." Unfortunately, and again, it's because I really, really want to use Linux. There is a bug with the current GNOME on Ubuntu 22.04, which I'm using it right now, that if you use the file manager for that comes with GNOME, which is this here, this is the file manager. You drag and drop from here, and they didn't believe me. You drag and drop from here, and thing gonna load. I don't know why. It is a bug that has been here for God only knows how long, but it ain't gonna load, man. So what I did is that you can see here. Oh, where did double commander go? Show up. Oh, it's on the other screen. So you can see here some of the stuff that I download. Again, you've seen everything that I do, the sad things I do to the computer. This, you can grab it from here, from Double Commander, or from some other file manager, and drop into Lightworks. And we don't have to brag about that on Windows, but I do have to do it on Linux. Or you can just go ahead, right-click, and then I don't know. There is the export, or is the import? There is something for you to manually, of course, right here, where you can import clips right here, and then you can go ahead and put them right there in the timeline. So how is, and then I go through, and I keep looking at the time, and I don't know that I really have the time to to show everything, but from this one here, once I have the audio, the video and the audio sung together, and the one thing is that the frame rates are important. Make sure that the two match, and if they don't, you can go ahead and you can change for the audio. And I have run into a lot of problems with this. There have been videos that I could not sync the frame rate from the video with the audio. I don't know why, but I had to again, this thing is splitting the two things out, the audio and the video track, and then just editing the audio out. There have been a lot of videos that I couldn't do that because I could not sync the video up, and it's usually with MP4s, because I think with MP4 you can set to drop some frames. And I don't know what it does with the audio, but once you export to Reaper and I try to re-import it wouldn't work. So I had to pretty much keep editing both of them in sync. And Lightworks has some stuff that you can do with audio, and of course you guys can see this here. This is the audio line, like how loud it is. And you can see that I boosted a little bit in here, even though I had already boosted that on on Reaper. And the other thing is, like, let's say I am talking and you guys are tired of hearing me say and making these weird noises with my mouth. What I can do, and I have done that a lot, especially when you're not recording the person very close up, is that you can go ahead and you see those dots that I'm putting here, and I don't know if Mark did weird noises here, but you can pull this down and pretty much silence this area in here. And okay, so if the guy keeps saying and, you can go ahead and grab a few of those ends and do away with it. Or if his mouth is really dry, you can go ahead and it doesn't have to hear the dude, moistening his lips every 5 seconds. So this is, and I know that this is video editing, but audio, I mean, it is extremely important. And that this is something that, I tell the truth, I didn't know when I first started using Reaper, because I was so used to Kdenlive not having anything that was this useful. And when I did the stuff with the other 2 Adobe products, I didn't do anything in audio from. I always used a different application. So I was glad that this part works phenomenally well, incredibly well. And again, this is a video editor, and this thing here for audio is amazing. So you can boost in here, you can kind of quiet down. Then they have this noise reducer, and I have used this for a couple videos, and it works okay. It is not near as good as something that you would do with Reaper. But if, like on those videos that I couldn't separate the 2 parts, I absolutely had to use it in here, and whatever people got is, it is what people got. And truthfully, aside from these 3 things in audio, I don't use the audio anywhere else. And you can see in here, go ahead and open up. I fade from black in this, and pretty much all the videos that I do, and I wait about 2 seconds. The reason why I wait 2 seconds is, whenever I watch a YouTube video, I want the person to just give me what the person is going to give me. I don't want to listen to, some sort of introduction and, crazy, well-done graphics that the guy paid I don't know how much to have that. No, man, just give me what you want to give me. So the fade in is, there is some stuff that was happening before, or should have happened before, it didn't happen before, I don't know. Welcome to the show. 2 seconds in and voila. And I do the fade in with the video, and I also do the fade in with the audio. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear it, but this is pretty much it. And I could, for example, if this here, I still don't want people to listen to him saying whatever he's saying, I can do the same thing that I did on the other one, and either make it more quieter, or just, I don't care what he said. But he would move his mouth, and you wouldn't, of course, hear anything. And so then we come to this part where we have the effects, and how Lightworks handle effects is very different than how Adobe products handle it. It was different than how Kden Live handles. And at first, it was difficult for me to wrap my head around all of this. I mean, what really is the difference? Okay, let me go ahead and pick a couple of the effects. And you guys can see right there that there's the three tabs that I use. I'm gonna tell right now, I don't. I mean, you can see like a side by side. Maybe I rarely use this tab. I have never used this one. This is what you got. I pretty much use the edit tab when I wanna see this kind of like the swimming lanes here. This one here when I want the video a little bit larger and the lanes here smaller. That's pretty much how I see it. And this effects tab in here is also larger. And this one only when I want to do audio. There you can see that the video is again as small as it is on edit. And then you have the audio part in here. So I guess this is how I see it. If you go to the manual, they're gonna give you the reasons of why all this stuff is the way it is, but that's how I see it. Okay, so I went ahead and I created a couple effects. One of them is, and again, I did a lot of this stuff for the church, so some of the effects are straight up for them. So I mean, you guys probably gonna see it and you're gonna laugh because it's not applicable to Mark talking about IRT architecture dealing with moving requirements using PHP and MariaDB. I can tell that nobody was saying hallelujah and clapping for how spiritual this talk was. So let's say it really was that spiritual. People really said, "Oh man, I wanted to give him some money," and that talk really changed my life. So I go ahead, and I don't know if you guys saw, but I pressed I in here on the keyboard, and this thing got inserted. I can pull this a little bit further. I can go that way. I can go this way with it. And this is right here that you can actually click right there on that. But I don't know those tools in there, those icons. And then you can come here and do an out. So, all right, he should have been a preacher. And you know what? I think you should give 10% of your income to him. So this is the tithes. So I created this effect. So I go ahead. So I selected, and this is one of the differences from the other one. I pretty much selected an area where I want to apply this effect, and you can see here on the marked region, on the current clip, or marching clips, I go with marked region, and then I just go ahead and click apply, and it's gonna put on if there is no effects lane, it's gonna put another one there. So I put it on this one, and then I can go ahead and I pressed P to go ahead and clear it. I could have just come here and cleared all the marks over there. When I first saw this coming from the other editors, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be freaking painful. I don't quite even remember. I have been using this for so long now, and I had it so many years, I don't remember how the other ones work. I had to go back to Kden Live for a couple months, and I missed this kind of workflow. This is how much I liked Lightworks. So again, let's see what that effect does. Again, the guys fit it in. We fit some of the stuff that he said, and then we get the tithes and offers can be received through our website, our mobile apps. I mean, what Mark said has changed my life. So you know how you can do it, because on our website, or you can go and type RVA log on Google Store, Apple, and then download and give them 10% of your income. So this is the one thing that I did. They have other effects as well. You can see here, there was one that I just put his name in here, and let me go ahead and mark, and so I'm going to do a O, and let me go ahead, and this is the titles, and let me go to the effects right here. You can see, okay, this is not the one. I'm going to Control Z this. It is, I think it is this effect that I want. Apply. So you can see here, this is the website of the church. If you go to that church and you give the 10%, it's not going to do the mark. So, okay, I go ahead and I click right there. I press P. Then you can see the website, which is just this text in here. It can be anything. So, let me see. You already got his name. Maybe you should get that he drives a Prius. Okay. He drives a... Is it spelled like this? All right, so he drives a Prius. He cares for the environment. That will change a lot if you look at that. That will bring, tells you a lot about that. So I went ahead, and you can see that I kind of edited one of the already present effects. And you can get into like a much more in-depth effect editing. You can, of course, create your own effects. I just pretty much, used one that was there already. And you can see some of them that are here. I think that it may have been this one or that one, that it would put a box right there, and I went ahead and I put what the box is going to be. You can see that you can make it larger, you can make it smaller. I can go ahead and I can grab this and I can move it up to here, move it up to there, and you can see all that stuff moving around. And this one here, this effect here, has two, has a second subheading. You can see here the pastor for the church. So Mark hasn't been ordained, so I'm not going to put that he's a pastor. And I removed the subheading when I was editing. So of course it's not going to show here. And there are, of course, the positions. You can pretty much move this thing up and down. This is for the text. This is for the subheading. And then we have it in here, the position for the, pretty sure this is for the box. Because it's not doing anything. Maybe it's for one of the boxes that is not showing here. Anyway, this is the editing part of the effects. There are like a ton of effects. most of them are pretty simple. They don't have the facts that are like, oh my gosh, this is gonna make a great, absolutely amazing video just by facts. Again, I'm doing this for YouTube. I just care to put like the guy's name here. Maybe I'm gonna put the website for something or another, or maybe I'll remind you to like and subscribe, something like that. But not much more. Not much more than that. And so this is for the facts. And cutting videos is in here. I always use the shortcut C. You can see here I created another clip, and then I can go ahead and do an I and an O in there, and I can go ahead and look for the facts I want, and go there, because I want the dissolve. So I can go ahead and I apply on the marked region, and you can see here the cursor right here. This is a color correction. That is, which for some reason I'm not seeing it. Let me click on this guy to escape. But there is something here about the keyframes that we can have it. And let me show maybe in the very first one. This is the routing that okay. So this so there are two keyframes on this first dissolve. I don't know what is happening here with this one, but of course the keyframe is right here on the beginning, and the last keyframe is right there. And you see when it first starts is really dark, and it kind of fades into nothing. So you can do all this through the keyframes in here, and I lost the keyframe, I don't know where it went, but it was there briefly. Hopefully you guys saw it already. So you can pretty much the keyframes is another very important part of the effects on Lightworks. And okay, let me see. Okay, there's a keyframes. So the video is right there, and then it comes here, and something should happen. Nothing's happening because there's probably some other effect that is in the way, preventing this from happening, but it is not happening here. So I can go ahead and let me go ahead and move this down so it doesn't start as dark as before. So it's a little dark and go lighter. Okay. Let me go ahead and start completely like that, and then completely like normal, and then it becomes really dark. So pretty much the opposite. So we do all this with the keyframes. The interesting thing is that at the keyframes, and you guys saw it in there when I was switching around, you can see here that, and this is pretty much the only two places that I use keyframes. One is for those kind of effects, and the second usage of keyframes is with the color correction. Because if you have multiple cameras, the cameras may not be set up to, for example, the the brightness is the same, or the saturation is the same. So what do you do then? You have to use keyframes, and you have to go every time that is a change in camera, you're going to have to pull one of those dots. So the way that you do it is that, for example, let's say it is brightness. You go ahead and you click it in here. So pretty much you click on this icon. You see keyframes into the parameter. So the normal parameter is going to be whatever I set before, which is like a 1.0 or something. There's some glare in there, so I can quite see. And you can see it right here. And then it already gives me the keyframe of where I put the thing, and it's pretty much the same deal that I used for audio before. You can put the keyframes around, and then you can pull up or you can pull down. And you can do this for each one of the cameras. So pretty much the same thing as the audio. So it is, I want this to be a lot higher here and lower there, and then go normal. Okay, so let me move to this keyframe. It's lovely when I cannot see it in there. Okay, so I think this is the first one. Alright, so let me go ahead and hit play, and you can see the brightness changing, go back and forth, and that was with the keyframe. So I have had, I did quite, the footage that I was doing for the church was 2 cameras. And the cameras, I'm not going to blame those guys for doing what they did, but pretty much I had to keyframe this stuff to get this stuff more or less useful. And those are really the main deals for me. One was this extra audio tab on Lightworks. I really liked how the workflow is when you do the in and out and you get the section. And I really liked also working with the effects here on the side when you go to the visual effects part of it, and you can see all that all that stuff right here that you can edit it yourself. And the last thing really was this keyframe deal, which to me is like it is something that I had heard other people talking about, and tell the truth, I never did anything up to this level with Premiere and other Adobe products. So hope this was useful, and that's it for me.